What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Cross Guild Chronicles. This is episode 5. We are going to talk 5 best pre-time skip arcs. Really excited about this topic tonight. I cannot wait to break it down for you. As you can see, my guy Shady is not here tonight. Busy weekend for my guy. He will be back next week, and we are going to tackle more One Piece topics. But for tonight, the topic at hand, 5 best pre-time skip arcs. The way I'm going to break it down tonight is I'm going to give you 3 to 4 of my favorite moments from that arc, and then I'm going to give you a rating out of 10 at the end of each arc, and that'll be how I kind of sum up why it's my favorite and how I got to this decision. So I'm really excited to talk about this topic. I think it's going to be a fun topic, and the last little piece before we get into it, I'm going to go a step beyond the saga versions of each arc. So not East Blue Saga, Alabasta Saga, Sky Island Saga, Water 7 Saga, Thriller Bark Saga, the Summit War Saga. I'm going to break it down even further than that, so we'll get a little bit more detail. So starting at number 5, Arlong Park is my number 5 best pre-time skip arc. Reasons are, we get to see Nami in a very vulnerable, emotional state. We get to see her and why she is the way she is towards Luffy and the rest of the crew, what she's had to go through early in her life, and we get to see what really makes Nami tick. So throughout this arc, all the flashbacks, everything leads to Nami in the middle of the town square, stabbing herself in her Arlong tattoo, and Luffy walks up, and this is where Nami asks Luffy for help officially, and then Luffy puts the hat on her head, and that moment between them is that moment of, I trust you no matter what. I've got your back. You can rely on me. And you can see that how important it is to Nami and to Luffy, because Luffy early tells Nami that he doesn't just let anybody wear his hat or touch his hat, and he's willing to put it on Nami to show her just how important Nami is to the crew and to Luffy. So that is an excellent moment. This leads up to my next favorite moment of the arc, the walk to Arlong Park. You get to see Sanji, Luffy, Usopp, Zoro make their march to the entrance of Arlong Park, and it's just an epic setting the tone moment for we mean business. We're here to kick ass. We are here to take down Arlong of the Fishman Pirates. It's excellent. And it's one of my favorite scenes in the anime pre-time skip also. Also in this arc, I think we get to see and learn some key information, some background information on Fishman Pirates, and then we get to learn of the 7 warlords of the sea, who will obviously play a massive role pre-time skip going forward. Also, we get to see what I think is one of my favorite early fights, Luffy versus Arlong. There's the different stages of the fight. The moment that they're in the charts room and Luffy absolutely crashes out and starts destroying the Arlong Park building is fantastic. You get to see him with the giant axe kick, and he finally is able to defeat Arlong. I also think that the 3 fights of the other crew members are very solid fights. Zoro using the 6-sword style to beat Hachen's 6-sword style is good. Sanji beating Kurubo in their matchup of martial arts kicking. And then Usopp getting the win over Chu by lighting him on fire is just pure classic Usopp victory. So to me, this is just a really solid arc. And we get to add Nami to the crew. You get that trust factor among the crew. You get to see each member of the crew get a victory over a fishman. And we know fishmen are extremely strong combatants. So that's a big feather in the cap for each of them. And Luffy keeps his promise to Nami and drives out the Arlong pirates from Nami's hometown. To score this arc, I'm going to give this arc a 7.75 out of 10. A 7.75 out of 10. It's classic One Piece. You get so much, backstory. You get so much to learn so much about Nami. I think all of it is worth it. 7.75 out of 10 for Arlong Park. My number 4 favorite or best arc of the pre-time skip. Number 4, Sabaody Archipelago. It's just, this arc has so much going on in it, so much going on that is just great One Piece content. First and foremost for me, I like meeting the worst generation, getting to meet each and everybody with their over 100 million berries, bounties. I like the different members. I like Yoroj. I like Drake. I like getting to see Killer, Law, all these different characters who are Luffy's peers at this time in the One Piece story. On top of that, we get to meet Silver's Rayleigh, the right hand of Goldie Roger. Incredible, incredible stuff. And then we get to see, on top of that, we get to see Luffy use Conqueror's Haki. We get to see Rayleigh, if you think back, we get to see Rayleigh use Ryo when he breaks the exploding chains. And then we get to see what I think is one of the better fights that doesn't have necessarily a serious tone, but it's still such a high-level battle that it's very entertaining, and that's Rayleigh versus Kizaru. After Kizaru had laid wreckage to the worst generation, you could see that there's such a massive gap between the higher tier combatants in One Piece and the worst generation at this point, and the gap that they're going to have to make up in that time. Also, the fight between Rayleigh and Kizaru, you get to see Kuma, who at the time is just so far beyond the Straw Hats, but he's in between when Rayleigh and Kizaru are fighting. He's giving Rayleigh information and updating him on what is going to happen with the Straw Hat crew. It's an incredible scene watching those two fight, but having Kuma keep up with them and being able to give information as the fight goes along is excellent. Also, one of the best pre-time skip moments happen in this arc when Luffy punches the Celestial Dragon. That is such a fulfilling moment pre-time skip. Watching his head bounce off the floor. Luffy, just an excellent, excellent moment for him. And then we get to see the first kind of team up between Law, Kid, and Luffy when they're all standing and they're getting ready to fight, and they're talking about who's going to take down who's going to take down that. And we get to see that moment again in Wano. So kind of a callback, foreshadowing moment way back in Sabaody. And then obviously we get to see where Kuma sends all the Straw Hats off. At the time, we think this is the end of the Straw Hats because they are getting wiped by Kuma. They have no shot. Zoro was able to injure Kuma at Thriller Bark, obviously, but at this point, they have no chance, and he sends them off. And at least, obviously we know where they're going to for the time skip, but at the time, devastation. And watching how emotional Luffy is, it really adds a lot of stakes to this arc, in my opinion. For me, Sabaody is an excellent, excellent arc. I have it as an 8 out of 10 and just slightly above Arlong Park, but there is a lot of classic One Piece that goes on in this arc. My number 3, Enies Lobby. Enies Lobby is also, all these arcs are fantastic. I'm splitting hairs by doing this. It has one of my favorite moments pre-time skip, probably my favorite moment pre-time skip. Robin yelling, screaming, "I want to live." And then Luffy, in response to that, tells Usopp to burn down the world government's flag. It's epic, epic, epic stuff. That is the kind of stuff that Oda brings to the table, and just he delivers it so well. So on top of getting Robin to join the Straw Hats, which is a great upgrade for the crew, we get to see that excellent moment where the Straw Hats declare war on the world government. My next favorite moment is we lose the Going Merry is sunk, and we get the continued tension between Usopp and Luffy. We get the introduction of Soul King, who obviously is Usopp, but Luffy doesn't quite understand that. And just that mask is so awesome for Usopp. I love that. It's kind of iconic for me, obviously. And then the final fights. The fights of Enies Lobby are excellent. They are fantastic. I like the fact that all of the Straw Hats get a major fight in this arc. Luffy versus Lucci, a battle that is just it is the best pre-time skip fight in my opinion. It is the best. It is number one. We get to see Luffy use Gear 2 and then break through and beat Lucci with Gear 3. We get to see Sanji versus Jabra. We get to see Sanji's up power boost where he uses Diable Jamble, his fire kick. We get to see Monster Point Chopper destroy Kumadori. Monster Chopper, when I was watching the anime trying to catch up, when he walks out of that smoke in that broken building, dude, I was so hyped for Chopper. I love Monster Point Chopper. Frankie beating Fukurori with that with the cola cannon. Nami beating Khalifa. Zora's Nine Sword Style beating Kaku, and then Robin breaking Spanda's back. Awesome arc. So many good fights. So much good stuff. And there's so much good stuff in the entire Water 7 saga. It's kind of hard to really, break it down from there. But Ines Lobby, my number 3, I'm giving it an 8.25 out of 10. Excellent arc. My number 2, guys, my number 2 arc is Impel Down. Impel Down, for me, has so much good stuff. I mean, the fact that Luffy, with the help of Boa Hancock, breaking into Impel Down, the most notorious prison, the strongest prison, the most, difficult place to break out of. Luffy breaks into Impel Down. And this is where we meet Ivankov. This is where we meet Jinbei officially. Jinbei, and Luffy, you kind of see where their chemistry and their relationship form here and start. And you kind of get in the back of your mind, man, I would love to see Jinbei in the Straw Hats someday, if possible. And this is kind of where that seed gets planted as they continue to fight their way through Impel Down. Hot take here, guys. Magellan, Warden Magellan, in my opinion, he is one of the 5 or 6 strongest pre-time skip One Piece characters. I don't know if you can tell me differently. You may try. I would love to hear your opinion on why he's not. But he single-handedly wipes the Blackbeard Pirates. He beats Luffy multiple times. Without Shiryu's help, the Blackbeard Pirates do not escape Impel Down. I think Magellan was super strong. And obviously, because he was so strong, Oda has to give him kind of a ridiculous nerfing with his stomach issues. But even with that, incredible. The Hydra ability that he has with his acid was such an awesome, badass move. I'm telling you guys, Magellan, one of the 5 to 6 strongest One Piece characters pre-time skip. And then I think the iconic team up between Luffy, Buggy, Crocodile, Ivankov, Jinbei, Mr. 3, Inazuma, Daz Bones, and Mr. 2. I love that moment where they're all fighting through and watching them get through each level and continuing to build steam and eventually steal the Marine ship and get out. And that moment where they drop into Marineford. Excellent stuff. Also, the relationship between Mr. 2 and Luffy. Mr. 2 sacrificing himself numerous times so Luffy could continue his journey. Awesome stuff. Really good emotion throughout this. And the fact that Luffy was able to get out and get one step closer to saving Ace. Give me an 8.5 out of 10 for Impel Down. I would love to hear what you guys think of Impel Down. It's an awesome arc in my opinion, and I just love the trials and tribulations. We also get to see the first look at awakened devil fruits with the big monsters that roam Impel Down. There's a lot of knowledge that we get throughout Impel Down as we go along. Also, Blackbeard recruits key members to his crew throughout. Buggy gains massive support through Impel Down. There's a lot of stuff that going forward comes from Impel Down. So for me, that was my number 2. My number 1 should be obvious. I assume most people have Marineford, their number 1 pre-time skip arc. To me, to this day, it is probably one of the top 5 favorite arcs in all of anime or manga. And it still probably holds up as one of the top 1 to 2 or 3 One Piece arcs to this day. there's just so much. It's hard to encapsulate and talk about everything that happens in this arc. I'm going to start with my rating first on this one, and then we're going to get into more detail. I'm going to go 9.5 out of 10 for Marineford. It's so epic. It is so epic. First things first, we get to see the three admirals together, Alkano, Aokiji, and Kizaru. We get to see each of them in action fighting different Whitebeard commanders. We get to see them kind of clash with Whitebeard. We get to see Akainu and Whitebeard absolutely go to war against each other. You can really split hairs here, but Akainu pretty much on par with Whitebeard. Yeah, you can make the excuse that he was sick, yada, yada. He put a beating on Whitebeard, blew off half his face in the manga, put holes in his body. Akainu had a fantastic showing in Marineford. Also, we get the Whitebeard moment where, as he's on his deathbed, getting ready to croak, he yells out, "The One Piece is real!" And that's an awesome, awesome moment in Marineford. And you can, the kind of a rallying cry to the new generation. And then we get to see Blackbeard and his crew show up. And the fact that Blackbeard shows the world that he can have two devil fruits at the same time by stealing the Gura Gura no Mi devil fruit from Whitebeard, I'm still to this day would love to know how it happens. But stealing that and combining that with his dark devil fruit, creating one of the most dangerous devil fruit combinations in One Piece. Obviously, such an epic moment for him. And then Luffy, his story, just him enduring the battle, everything he had to go through to try to get to Ace, the Mihawk run-in, the different warlords he had to run into, Jinbei stepping up and taking Mori out for him. Just so much different things happened against Luffy throughout the entire battle. Him showing up in front of the three warlords with the big tree branch under his arm and breaking it and kicking it at him. So much he had to go through, punching Garp to try to get to Ace. It was fantastic. All the trials and tribulations it took Luffy to get to Ace, and for all of it to come crashing down as Akainu confronts Ace and calls out Whitebeard, and Ace just can't let it go. Ace is so close to escaping, but no, it's all for naught. Ace and Akainu face off, and Akainu burns Ace and then punches a hole through his chest. That's when Jinbei shows up and tries to save Luffy and gets punched. Luffy leaves with a large scar. That's when Shanks shows up to save them at the last second, and the war kind of ends with Shanks and Akainu coming face to face. It's so good top to bottom. There's so much going on. The red hair pirates showing up at the end. There's after they held off Kaido's, we don't get to see that fight, but we know that the red hair pirates held off Kaido and his crew at that point from getting to Marineford. Also, so much could have happened, but so much did happen. It's easily the best pre-time skip arc, and it's kind of unfair because it's so loaded. But no matter what, that is going to always be one of my top 2-3 One Piece arcs. And I would love, love, love to hear your guys' favorite or 5 best pre-time skip arcs. Give it to me in the details. If you disagree with some of my reasoning, let me know. Again, next week, Shady will be back. Can't wait to have him back. That guy is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to One Piece. Guys, we are at 43 subscribers on the YouTube channel right now. Thank you for the support. Please, if you watch this video, if you watch it all the way to the end, help us get to 50 subscribers. We're 7 subscribers away. If you guys have TikTok, check me out, OP Doug. I do a lot of TikTok videos. Some of these, different breakdowns will be on the Twitter or the TikTok page. Other than that, guys, this has been the 5 best pre-time skip arcs. I appreciate y'all, and we will see you next week.